Hey, horror fans. Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mining G. Yes, it finally came out. It came out over the weekend. Actually, it came out a couple of days ago. It is Mickey's Mousetrap, or the Mousetrap, wherever you want to put it. Yes, yes.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans. Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mining G. Now, Mickey's Mousetrap is a 2024 Canadian comedy horror film. It was directed by Jamie Bailey, and the screenplay was by Simon Phillips. And of course, it is based upon Steamboat Willie, the cartoon by Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks. I think I pronounced his name correctly. Now, the film stars Simon Phillips, Sophie McIntosh, Madeline Kellman, Ben Harris, and Kayam Skywick. Now, in this movie, it's Alex's 21st birthday, but she's stuck in the amusement arcade on the late shift, so her friends decide to surprise her. But a masked killer dressed as Mickey Mouse decides to play a game of his own with them, and she must survive. Oh boy. Now, horror fans, I'm sure remember that when Steamboat Willie, that is the cartoon that Disney's Mickey Mouse played in the 2018 cartoon of the same name, when it went into the public domain, it was announced that a horror film based upon that character was going to be made. Yes, they were like, ooh, we're going to make some money off of this one. I mean, it's no different when Winnie the Pooh went into the public domain and a horror film was made called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and another horror film about Steamboat Willie was going to be made as well. So I was not surprised after when Winnie the Pooh became a horror film that Steamboat Willie was going to be made as well. I mean, there have been plenty of horror films based on characters from children's books that have been made over the past 2 years or so. It's been becoming a growing trend, becoming a growing subgenre when it comes to horror films. I mean, there are two Cinderella horror films that are out right now. One is called Cinderella's Curse, and the other one is called Cinderella's Revenge. I have not seen one of those two, but I believe I've seen the trailers. Neither one of them really did excited me any playhouse. Got one that's a curse, another one that's revenge, but it's all based upon the Cinderella fairy tale. And let's not forget, horror fans, we had a Humpty Dumpty horror film along with Jack and Jill, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and of course, let's not forget the TCU, the Twisted Childhood Universe, which includes the two Winnie the Pooh films, along with Pinocchio. We got Bambi that's supposed to be coming out later on this year. And of course, we have the Pooniverse, Monsters Unite, as sort of like the Avengers. Third film that's coming up. We have all these characters are going to combine into this monster film that's supposed to be part of the Twisted Childhood universe. However, for now, we do have director Jamie Bailey, who brings us his entry into this growing subgenre of horror. This is called The Mousetrap, or Mickey's Mousetrap, whichever title you prefer. Now, after a very interesting beginning of the film, which I thought was kind of funny, we're introduced to Alex, a young woman who's talked into working the late shift at the music arcade called the Funhouse. Much to her surprise, her friends are renting out the place to celebrate her 21st century. That's right, you know how it is, getting a bunch of young people together, especially when they turn 21, and let's get drunk, smoke some dope, and have sex. Now, the gang that we have here, we have Marcus, who wants to be her boyfriend. We have Riley, who really wants to be her boyfriend, even though he already has a girlfriend. And then, of course, we have Rebecca. I'm only mentioning these people because they're kind of the main focus of the story. Now, everything is going fine until two of their friends sneak away to have sex. Of course, why not? And they're attacked by a man wearing a Mickey Mouse mask. So, can Alex and her friends stop this crazy man before they kill everyone in the amusement arcade? Yeah, that's kind of what this film is about. After seeing this film, I was thinking to myself, do you really want to review this film, Monty G? You know what I say? You know what? I owe it to my subscribers to prevent you from watching perhaps one of the worst horror films that I've seen so far this year. And I'm not saying that this is something that I expected because, to be honest, I really wasn't expecting much. From this particular film, when I saw the trailer, it really didn't excite me enough. The only interest in it is that it is Mickey Mouse, one of the most beloved characters from Disney. Now, keep in mind, it's not the actual Mickey Mouse character that we know today. It's simply just based upon the Steamboat Willie character. Now, again, like I said, since we know that this is a low budget film, again, I wasn't really expecting much, but I really wanted to see if Jamie and his film and his team could actually make somewhat of a decent horror film that is somewhat entertaining. I mean, as bad as the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey was, at least it has some decent kills, and I really liked the animated story at the beginning of the film. I thought it had some promise because I really did love that aspect of the film. Yeah, we had some decent kills that had some pretty good practical effects, but overall the film was bad because none of the characters were pretty interesting, and that's basically it. Now, as far as this film is concerned, I really, really do not know what Jamie and his team are thinking about. Even for a low budget film, as I stated earlier, this film is just bad, terrible, dull, and boring. First off, I guess right away who the person in the Mickey Mouse mask was, so there's really no suspense regarding that aspect of the film. As a matter of fact, Jamie does no attempt at creating any type of atmosphere, or at any time do we believe that Alex and her friends are any real danger of being killed. I mean, that's one of the biggest aspects that you at least want to create in your film is the thought that somebody is going to die. There should be some tension. There's some suspense. There's some type of atmosphere to make the situation creepy, or at least dangerous. And none of that happens here in this particular film. Then again, due to the lack of any character development, you're not going to really care about anyone in this particular film, and that's mainly due to the boring and dull script that Simon Phillips wrote for this particular film. I mean, he did a very poor job of this writing a film. Yeah, we do have Alex at that Soapy's Macintosh character. We're supposed to care about her, because she's the main focal point in the film. But like everyone else in the film, she really isn't fleshed out enough for the audience to care about what's going to happen to her. And again, I don't fault Sophie McIntosh for this particular film. Unfortunately, Simon Phillips doesn't give her anything to do with the character to make her at least somewhat likable. And unfortunately, he does nothing of that here. Now, I know the actors in this particular film aren't the best. They know when you can't get any, you have a limited budget, you can only get what you can hire. But unfortunately, they don't do anything to bring any type of life in this particular film. Now, I don't know, it could be the acting, the script, or both, but the dialogue is just horrible. I mean, just plain horrible. Ooh, what's that? That's that guy in the Mickey Mouse class. I mean, there is no emotion. There's no real feeling. It's like they're reading the line from the script. And unfortunately, Jamie can't get them to do anything in front of the camera. You're supposed to at least get them to try to emote something in the camera to make people care about them. But it's just like they're reciting lines, and there's no emotional attachment to what they're reading, what they're saying. There's one small bit of some type of bonding that we get between not Sophia, between Alex and Marcus at this particular film because they're supposedly like each other. And, we get that little aspect of the film. But unfortunately, it's just, again, bad acting and bad script writing. You really don't get anything from it. No, as much as we complain about how bad the masks that were used in the first Winnie the Pooh film, this Mickey Mouse mask wouldn't even scare a 5-year-old. I mean, it's like if you're going to make Mickey Mouse into a horror character, you want to at least make the mask frightening. And again, I understand limited budget, you don't have that much to do with, but I've seen a lot of other low budget horror films that have better masks than this one. And what really topped this off for me was how the film ended. And I know when you're going to see it, you're going to be saying, "What the hell?" Along with some few other choice curse words along with it, because I've never seen a film. I've seen some bad endings in films before, but this takes the cake because it absolutely, absolutely makes no sense. Again, I don't know what Jamie and Simon were thinking when they made this film, but they thought that they were going to get the audience with this particular ending of the film, and that's it. And then we get a somewhat partial post-scene credit that, again, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit the anything with the film. It's just like, what are you guys trying to do? It makes no absolutely effing sense. And again, I know what a low budget film was, and I wasn't expecting anything like Night Swim or Imaginary because those are big budget, big budget horror films. They were bad because they were, because they were just bad horror films, but I wasn't expecting anything like those type of films. But some of the films that are released by Wild Eye are way, way better than this one was, and that's saying a lot. I mean, overall, I mean, this is one of the worst horror films I've seen so far this year. I mean, bad acting, bad writing, some poor production, dull, lackluster, and boring horror film with some, like I said, just oh boy. I mean, it's like this. If you ever thought about trying to watch Mickey's Mousetrap or the Mousetrap, please don't. You're gonna be frustrated by the time this film ends because it's kind of funny. Because I saw online, Cody Leach actually put up a post on his I think it's on his community center and YouTube asking should he watch the film. And I told him, Cody, if you value your sanity, your mental state, don't watch this film because you're going to get frustrated and you're going to be pissed off and you'll be standing right at this camera like I am saying, what the F were these guys thinking? So, horror fans, how am I going to rank this film? Very, very rarely do I not give out any of my 5 gold coins for a film. I believe it's only happened once or twice. Well, it's going to happen a third time. Yes, zero, zap, zilch. This is how bad this movie is. And again, like I said before, I understand the challenge of trying to get a film made. It's very tough. It's very hard, especially when you're independent filmmaker. Obviously, one of the most troublesome thing is the finances because you definitely have to have money in order to do a decent film. But at least there should be some effort in this particular film. There should be something that at least shows that you guys tried. And unfortunately for me, they did not try at all. Very, very terrible, terrible film. I'm pretty sure this will be on my top 5 worst horror films of the year. So there you have it, guys. That is my video and review of Mickey's Mousetrap or the Mousetrap. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button. Ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember that horror rules. Ha 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 ha. And I see you in my next video. That guys, stay safe out there.